biggest potential threat for Palantir is actually embedded in one of the most bullish thesis right now about Palantir. So people look at Palantir and they would say, oh, there's no competitors. Let's go. And I'm like, no, that's not a good thing, because that means we still haven't seen what the system can do when there's actual big boys in the picture trying to compete. We haven't seen a Google or a Microsoft go at their neck yet. That's what I think the biggest question will be. Because when these guys say, well, we've seen that you can make money off this, now we're going to come in and take your lunch, which is basically the business model for Microsoft right now at this point. Ever since Bill Gates left, I mean, that's what they do. They're trying to do this to Zoom now. I mean, they remember Slack, and then we can Azure, like a lot of different examples. So basically, the question is, can Palantir withstand a push from Microsoft with all of its network effects, salespeople relationships, and ecosystem? They can pretty much loss leader you're out of a business. They can come into a company and basically say, hey, use our solution, which may not be as good, but we'll give it to you for free for 4 years. And it's like the essential, I'm just using a very extreme example. Of course, that would be illegal. There's antitrust laws that prevent that. But essentially, like, you open a little lemonade stand, and then somebody buys a food truck, and they want to drive you out of business, and then they just sell Coke for 50 cents or 25 cents just until you go bankrupt. So the big companies they can withstand, they can poach your employees, they can take your best employees, pay them more. They can really go at your neck. They play hardball. It's not like competing with these medium-sized companies. So the only scenario where Palantir withstands that and gets to keep a significant part of the market, which I don't think they'll keep holding 100% of it. There's going to be a nice division between 2 or 3 companies. The only way that Palantir stays kind of like what happened with AWS and Azure or other examples when it's a split market is if their solution is so much better, like 100x better than what the competitors have, so that their salespeople relationship with the CEOs don't matter anymore, and the credits that they give you don't matter anymore. Because as a CEO, you know that if you won't use this industry standard that everybody's using, and you're going to use an inferior product, then eventually you're going to lose your job. So you're going to say, hey guys, I really appreciate you and everything, but I have to get this because this is the shit, right? That's the only. If it's a 20% better software, it's not gonna cut it. Then they're going to run you out of business. So that is why I think that people don't understand what's going on right now with Palantir. So Palantir is spending insane amounts of money, and they're not profitable, like from a tax perspective, even though operationally they are profitable for 3 months, for 3 quarters already. But I mean, because of, anyways, from a accounting perspective, they're only losing money. And you mentioned this earlier. They're putting a lot of money into R&D. Remember when we made assumptions about, so a lot of money goes into R&D, a lot of money goes into stock-based comp. And people criticize them for these 2 points, basically saying, oh, look at the dilution. The stock-based comp is out of this world. And look at the expenses. They're not profitable. It's a clown company. And then I look at it and I say, well, this is the only thing they can do to try and put themselves in a position to prep for that battle in a year or 2 or 3, whenever it comes. Because there's a few things you have to do. First of all, you have to capture as much market share as you can to create an industry standard. Because if you can't get it done, this will not work. And the only way you can do it is just completely say, I don't care about profits. I just want to conquer as much industries as I can. So they're doing this with Skywise. I don't know if you heard, they just signed a deal with Hyundai for the shipping industry. And they're developing the situation that they're kind of the operating system of BI or whatever it is. I don't know. The other part, which they're trying to do, again, criticized for, is the stock-based comp. Oh, the dilution. First of all, there's no dilution because, I mean, nobody has looked at the documents, but the DPO documents say 2 billion shares. So outstanding shares have not grown by 1 share in the past year. People confuse float with outstanding shares. So nobody got diluted over the past year. But never mind. But still, 2 billion shares is a lot of shares, and a lot of them went to stock-based comp. And the reason they're going to stock-based comp is because they know that in a couple of years, whatever they have, top 0.2% of their employees, the superstars, companies like Microsoft and Google, which will try to take their lunch, will try to throw a fucking Brinks truck to them. Basically, hey, here's 5 million, come work for us. The only way you keep some of these is that if you gave them a piece of the business and a significant piece, and you can make the case, hey, this might be the next Amazon, and you just got a big piece of it, not sure if you want to take the quick money now, you probably want to stay. And that's not going to work for every single employee, but I mean, it's going to work for, I think, a significant amount. So that's what I see them prepping for that event. And yet I see all the criticizers of Palantir not focusing on, like, there's a bigger issue here and they're missing it. They're looking at, stock-based comp, not profitable, not scalable, which is nonsense. I have documents that show like the onboarding process for Foundry. 1 to 2 weeks is initial kind of interviews. 3 to 6 weeks is onboarding. From 6 weeks and onwards, you go to support. You have the software and that's it. There's no human being with you there. So that's the big question, Palantir. Can they withstand that storm when it comes, when people come for their neck? That will be the biggest test for Palantir. I think they will, but I think it will be. I don't think it's going to be like a 4-game sweep, 4-0. I think it's a 7-game series in basketball terms.
Sure.